Hey guys, back with the Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 82. And in this episode, it's going to be everything Will. I don't care about anything else. I'm not going to talk about anything else. This past week has been all about Will. Since it dropped last week, today, yeah, we've been grinding. We cleared, if you didn't know. We put in the work. We learned a lot. And I just want to shout out everyone on the team, people that help. We had Mushi do his audio cues. We had Sinner, their team from NA and Gnosis, from Love, helping us out. We had Sephi, the GOAT, was in our voice comms, helping us out, giving us tips. He was obviously very, they cleared earlier as well. Arguably, in my opinion, the first legit team to clear. So they well deserved. They helped us out. I just appreciate everyone. It was a kind of a team effort, not just our team, but in the community as well. And that was where the Discord channel, the Echoing Thoughts Discord channel, was amazing. Sephi was streaming his will runs, awesome for people to see. We were having conversations in the will chat. I mean, if you want to be a part of it, see what's going on behind the scenes, you definitely want to join the whale tier there as well, because man, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of great insight from a lot of smart people, and it would have been possible without everyone's help, not just our team, the community as well. But I got to give a huge shout out to our team in general. We have guys and girls that just were locked in, to be honest. Tuesday, we played for 4 hours till 3 a.m. in the morning for some people, and we were just focusing on one part. Literally the first 62 seconds of the fight was the hardest part for us. You'll see, and for a lot of teams, it was a struggle, and we spent hours on that trying to figure it out because it was just so inconsistent. Each player kind of had their own issues, and there's a time check, right? A DPS check. There are check marks that you have to reach, and if you don't reach it, you're screwed. It's a 15-minute fight, and if you literally don't hit the check mark in the first 62 seconds, the first one, it's GG. You're done. You're not going to make it. And so we put in so much time and frustration, and somehow we figured it out. And then yesterday, Wednesday, the 28th, we were locked in. 2 runs, a few times at the beginning, we had a hard time with that first minute, but after that, it was less than an hour session, which is insane for a 15-minute fight. Once we got through that, phase 1 test, phase 2 test, team was locked in. People were calling off from work. People left work early. People calling off work the next day. People working from home the next day. Just after the day before, people were locked in, ready to go get the clear before reset, and we got it done. So I want to shout out the team. We're going to jump into it, but I just want to do shout outs and appreciation to all those people that helped us, because it definitely wouldn't have been possible to get that done without, so many people. Not even outside of our team, we had people running previously in the week, Ray, we had Arandi, we had Jenna, Axelrad, we had a lot of people standalone that ran with us when other people couldn't make it. We had Tiff playing Truffle Locks as well. So shout out to them for, everyone played a part, right? Just learning, getting reps, getting more experience, and just seeing what's going on. And in a short amount of time, in a week's time, we did it. We did it. All right, let's get into it right here. This is our run, our clear run. You can see we're all rebuffing here. And our team is stacked with not just some of the best players, best geared players, but definitely the best mechanically players in the world, right? We have the best Nightwalker in the world, the best Shade in the world. We got the best Sia in the world. We got the best Night Lord, arguably, in the game in NA. We got the best Wind Archer in NA. We got up across the board, right? It's not just the best geared players, but these guys are masters of their class. They know how to do their DPS. They know how to survive. And forgot to say, we have the best Ice Lightning Mage in the game, right? Up and down the board, the team, right? We are just loaded, right? And our Bishop played out of his mind as well. So I just want to shout out everybody. We have a veteran, Nightwalker and Phantom as well. It's been running for a long time. And this one, for me, was the best, like the most fulfilling. Like we've cleared, like this team, most of these players, we've cleared Lucid, first time together, first I think server clear, first NA clear probably for Lotus, for Damien, for Lucid, and now for Will. Right, we've been grinding out this for 4 bosses now, and this is like the first one where it was possible from the first week, but it wasn't like Lucid we cleared first try, second attempt, right? That was Lucid was like nothing. But Lotus and Damien, we were grinding for months before it was even clearable to get mechanics down. So we like that one was super fulfilling but we had time, right? We had time to rep it out. We didn't like have a small window of pressure, schedule pressure, as far as like we were kind of an hour here, an hour there, learning and keep coming back and forth. And we weren't like putting in hours and hours. Like Tuesday was a 4-hour sesh, that probably more. That was the longest session that I've ever been a part of for MapleStory. Just grinding it out. So this one was definitely fulfilling because we wanted to get it done before reset. We knew we could do it, and our schedules didn't work out. So yeah, this one hit different for sure. And plus it's a 15-minute fight, and I want to kind of explain a little bit of the mechanics for Will if you don't know, right? So Moonlight Gauge is the mechanic right here. This little thing above the Fever and the Soul Gauge is the mechanic, the unique Will mechanic. And then in phase 1, you'll see, I mentioned before, blue, there's 3 HP bars, right? Blue and, oh please, I'm screwing this up. Blue and purple, right? So it's kind of grayed out here. So the goal is to reach both of these check marks here at a certain time, right? So we kind of have to even out DPS. There's ways we move in between the rooms. I don't want to get too deep into it because this video might take forever, but essentially that's what we're trying to do. So you'll see here, I actually turned down my transparency for animation so I can see some stuff. But we're all trying to get into this blue room here. And then we're stunning. We're using split and bursting it down right here. Right, burst till we get to this check mark a little bit before. And one of the things that for people that are having a hard time with this, one of the things that we had issues with was that once it hits this check mark here, you're going to end up doing zeros. And means you can't fill up this gauge. So some classes, Paladins are very fortunate to be able to fill this gauge easily, but some classes are not able to. So if they start in the red room or the purple room, and then they switch over to the blue room, if we don't leave enough DPS or enough time for them to fill up their gauge here, then they're not going to make it over to the purple room. We're not going to have enough DPS and we're going to fail. Essentially fail, leave in the first minute. So there's check marks, you have to things, but there's also mechanics to it per each team that's different because certain classes have a harder time than others. And if you take damage, you are not able to fill that gauge. There's like a delay or there's like a cooldown for filling that gauge. So there's some few mechanics that you can't really see until you rep it out. And that was our hardest problem because each class, like mages had a hard time if they took damage, if they're in the red room. There's an issue with Dark Sight where if you use it too early, it goes away. Right? Sort of precast it. So there's some things that we have to figure out. And our margin for error was very small compared to other classes that's cleared and even other classes that haven't cleared. So you see, I switched over to the purple room and you can tell that by this HP gauge being illuminated to the actual color. That's how you tell what room you're in, or you can also look at the background. But you can see some people switched over. So allow others to finish this off right here. The HP, finish it off. We time leaped, and split is crucial for this fight. You need to maximize split. So we split again here, bursted it up, bursted it down, and then we have to stun here at around 1410 mark because the boss will teleport, and we're trying to skip that skill. So if we don't stun here, so it's stunned, it's going to teleport, it's going to be immune from damage for about a few seconds, and we're not going to hit this check mark. So the check mark is 1358. At 1358, if we don't get it down, so we barely got it, right? We barely got it. We're cranking. We're cranking out damage. We barely get it. This is how close the margin for error is for us. So now it's hitting zeros, right? That's how we know we made it. Can't go past that check mark. And then at 58, there's a little banner right here. Find your way to safety. And if there's an eye in the middle of this room, when this banner comes up, you stay in this room. If not, since this room does not have the eye, this spider screen crack is like a arc screen crack, right? So it's gonna one shot everyone in there. So we switch over to the room, to the blue room for safety. And then now we're reading this next test. So this test right here, another banner, kind of indicator, and this eye on the ground below Will, that is sort of the safe zone. So you get hit by a gold, creates that shell, and now we're just trying to dodge. These kind of, I don't even know what to call it, red, purple, red, or black orbs, they hit for like 240, 230 something K. So it's a one shot for some people, right? So we have Arcia. Arcia puts up Hourglass, insane. Hourglass right there, just to be safe, just to keep us alive. And obviously we try to run away, avoid it, because even if you're in the gold shell, you're still going to take damage. So then screen crack again right here, and we all got to be in the gold shell to avoid damage. And now we're hitting a next check mark. And here's another point that we had. You saw I got hit with 234K there. Now another thing that we learned from Sephi, so shout out to him, was that after every screen crack and every test, you want to start in the purple room. So we all switch over to purple here. And because it's going to teleport half of us in about a few seconds, right there. You might be moved, this banner. So half of the team got moved here automatically. So it saves us the moonlight gauge. And then the rest of the team moves over as well. So we all want to be in the same room, because you'll see the HP bars here. At 58, it's going to have the screen crack, and all the HPs are going to get reset. The lowest one is going to go to the highest one. So right here, you see it's pretty even, right? Pretty nice. Find your way to safety. There's no eye in this room. So right there's the eye. You saw it. And then now this is the safe room. But you'll see right here, the HP bars, it all went back. See, it kind of flipped right there for a second. And now we're in the purple room. We're just going to burst this down. And this is pretty smooth sailing here because we have a lot of time, right? We struggled to get it to clear these fully in 62 seconds at the start of the fight. But now we have less time because we chunked it down, and so we're going to get here no problem. And all our burst is up. So this is crucial. And this is why Paladins honestly have a great time. This is why I'm topping the charts right here. The way it lines up is that we have full uptime here during our echo and our burst. So we're using it, right? It's a long fight. I'm putting it, some people manual it. I just put it on pet, set it and forget it. Because look, all of our burst here. And the nice thing is when our burst is down, echo, 3, 2, 1. So now we're just waiting. So zeros, we're not can't do any more damage. We're waiting for the 58-second mark here. Avoid that tornado. And then now the banner, get into the purple room right here where the eye was. And then we're going to reach that test because we hit the check mark, right? So this is all rinse and repeat. Phase 1 is 6 minutes long. There's no way faster to do that. Just the way that the testers line up. But for Paladins specifically, why it's huge is because this test occurs when our cooldowns are down. So it works out perfectly for us. We're full uptime on the burst for the test to do damage. And then when it's downtime, when we're doing no damage, when a lot of classes catch up, we're doing test. So no one can do damage anyways. So it's clutch. Now there's about 20 seconds here, of course, where, we split here, which was nice. And then we're going to get moved over again. So right there, the banner, you might be moved. I wasn't moved here, so we switched over on their own. Moonlight gauge, right? And one of the things as a Paladin player that I did was I made sure that off of cooldown, once Echo was up, I was pressing Synchro. Once my V4, 13 seconds left, was off of cooldown, I used it. Because the main thing for Paladins is that I didn't want to get stuck at the end of the fight not using all of the possible uses of my V4, my V3, and of my Synchro. Right? Because 15-minute fight, it lines up perfectly. I can get 8 uses. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And if I wait a little bit too long, I may not get there. Right? I may not get there at the end. And that's huge, 2,400 lines. Right? So I'm not really waiting to use it to pair with DS4. I'm sort of using it immediately. And if it pairs with DS4, which majority of the time it does, it's perfect, right? But I wanted to get all these synchros out as well to make sure that we're using it. We're not waiting too long. We're not waiting for the perfect time. Just quantity and quality it's quality regardless, right? It's quantity and quality. So in these long fights, it's a win. So right there, I used it off a cooldown. No defense smash 4. Not worried about it. I'm just using it or losing it. I can't be waiting for the perfect opportunity. Just in these long fights, for me, it's just, I feel like the best way for me to do DPS is just for the V3s specifically, for V4s, I can sort of hold on to it and stack it up for DS4 and things like that. But for the V3, I cannot, because the cooldown doesn't start until the hold down skill is done. So it's not just a 2-minute cooldown, it's also 6 seconds each time, right? So it adds up, right? And in a long fight, if you miss one, missing out. So that's how I try to maximize my damage here. Avoid that tornado, Shan. And I'm going to post and here's the test again. I'm going to post all of the different point of views that are on YouTube. Ed has the comms video on his. I'll post that below. You got to check that one out. Primo streamed his. Hopefully Warren posted his. Trufflelock X, the Ice Lightning Mage, posted one as well. So you want to see all the point of views. Hopefully Copy and Shan posted their point of views as well. We got a lot of people streaming, posting their content for you guys to see their point of view. So you definitely want to support them, check them out, subscribe, like it, and show them some love, because everyone put in the work. Everyone put in the work. So yeah, right here, nice again, right? All these cutscenes, I made sure I mounted up here too, so that my echo did not proc during this cutscene. Little tip and trick here. So you see I'm mounted up. 1 second left on echo. I got to make sure I reselect Ed here before I unmount. Reselect him, make sure he gets echo, synchro immediately, and then we're off and running, right? And here, and we actually use fair trade. And so in phase 2 is the big test. There's 2 things that you have to focus on phase 2. The Moonlight Gauge is what is like a manual PE, right? You cannot heal until you use the Moonlight Gauge. You cannot receive heals as well. Passive heals, like my heal skill, won't work. Bishop heals won't work unless the potion on top of my head, everyone's head, comes off, right? So that's why you see right here, here's the potion right here, here's the potion right here, potions, that's indicator, right? So we have our bishop looking at HP bars in this phase and making sure that he is letting people know who needs to heal, who's not 100%. You can't, like the power elixir won't go off. So I'm using Synchro here. My HP is low, but I'm in Synchro, so I'm totally fine as Philly is telling me to heal. But I healed up right there after my burst. And now it's just about aggro. And so the biggest skill, this is the burst skill. This is the burst DPS check phase as well. But the biggest skill that we have to worry about is Spider. So we figured out that Spider comes after that. There's a rotation, right? So there's a knockback. Spider's going to come here, right there. And you see it crawl along the ground, and it's doing 150k-ish ticks slowly. So it's crawling, and it's going to die if you take damage from it, right? So if you're not in iframe. So Mila, we called it out. She was in dark sight, survived. Everyone else to the left. Positioning is actually insanely important. She gets knocked back there, and we're just trying to DPS it down. So we're trying to call out here as aggro moves. That's huge. We got to pay attention. Heal up here. And Ed's trying to dodge a spider right there, you see, but it doesn't come, right? It was going to come right here after this, but we hit the test. So the test right here, this is the test. Once we hit this check mark right here, test. And this is tough. This is the hardest part of phase 2. There's a pattern that you have to memorize. We all have to memorize. If one person messed it up, so going left, half left here, then there's high risk of dying and failing. Right, so all 10 people had to know what's going on. We're in comms. You listen to Ed's video. We're in comms calling it out, but there's small windows of being able to react and listen to callouts. You have to know preemptively at least what to do here. I almost missed that right there. But of course, Sia's got her back. Hourglass here. And then it's actually not a one-shot. It's like 75% HP. So we're trying to tell everyone Again, make sure you're at full HP here. Our bishop is calling it out. So even if you get hit, you will actually survive. So there's 5 tests of this per cycle. And if you pass all 5 tests, then you can do more DPS. If not, the HP is going to go back up, and you're just not going to have enough time to clear in this 15-minute fight. The DPS window is short, right? So now's our chance to attack. Will open his eye. While he's open. So DPS here again. DPS check, and look, super nice because my cooldowns are going to come back up in 9 seconds, and I'm going to be able to burst it down and get maximum value of it again. So that entire time, again, Pally. That's why Pallies can keep up here. I'm only at 57 mil cap, keeping up with the big dogs, 66, 67, 68 mil caps because of the way that this boss is in phase 1 and phase 2. Very fortunate, very lucky, but that's, I mean, right there. Came up, Synchro immediately, and this is what I'm talking about, right? My V3 is taking a little bit longer. If I wait too long, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to be able to get it here. By the time it comes up, if I waited any longer, I wouldn't have a V3 proc charge for this burst window. And that's huge for paladins, right? Because then, again, if I didn't use it here immediately, I may miss it. If it's 10, 20 seconds later, we're screwed. I'm screwed, right? Because it's going to be a whole nother minute. There's going to be the test. There's going to be cutscenes between phase 2 and phase 3. And I just wasted a whole charge. I got to wait for Echo again. So 2,400 lines, use it or lose it. That's what I figured out. And here, make sure I heal here. Use the gauge. I think Philly's healing me. But easy DPS. Stunned right there. Positioning is key. Making sure that Ed and I coordinate our Synchro so he doesn't overlap his Dark Sight and his Synchro. And here, Spider is going to happen again. But we hit the test. So there's check marks, right? This is 6 minutes left. 9 minutes into the fight. We have to get through phase 2. And that was perfect. Look, my cooldown just came off. So I got full value of that Echo. Full value of my burst. Now, no damage, no DPS. I got to heal up here. There you go. Used it. And now, while my cooldowns are on cooldown, we're just doing the test, figuring it out. So this is why the recent change, 2 minutes cycles, was implemented for these bosses, right? 1 minute up burst, 1 minute downtime, doing all this mechanics and test. So here we are, killing it, doing great. I think Warren is using his Sia cup as well, and we'll talk about that later because, man, is Sia so good. The unsung hero, the best, the single-handed, like the number one reason why we cleared is because of our Sia, Warren. The best in the game, the best in the business. I'll show you in phase 3 especially. So mount it up again here because my Echo is going to come up in 13 seconds. So rinse and repeat. Phase 1, phase 2. When everything lines up perfectly for us, we're able to keep up, right? Look, I'm right there up there. Paladins are right there up there. Very good in this fight to keep up. I think we got some big guns up there too. So right here, look, if I wasn't mounted up, Echo may have gone to someone else. But I had to re-click Ed. Make sure I re-clicked it. So when I unmounted, it procced. Use Synchro. He gets poison here. That was another thing. We made sure he got poison first as aggro. I Synchroed him. We stunned. We split. We bursted. Right? Huge burst. Am I going to burst? Yep, there I am. Burst. V3 off a cooldown. With split with DS4. We like that. And we're cranking. Right? We're cranking. And so this is the biggest issue for us. Right? With aggro as Mila, during this burst phase, and I think everyone is, during this burst phase, aggro is going to jump, right? Night Lords, Paladins may take the aggro and the direction, right? People are knocked back here, left. You see people are stun locked here on the left into these webs. These webs is a phase 3 mechanic. Moonlight Gauge. Use it to cleanse these webs here. That's what we have to do. Left side and then aggro right side. So if you stun locked, use an all cure and then cleanse, right? So they're kind of stuck in that corner for a bit, right? And then they cleansed. Perfect. You see that? They use their all cure, they cleanse, they're back in. And so positioning is key right here. So for us, left side is kind of where everyone is. Andy, copy here. about 2 to 3, 4 people away from Will, characters away. And then aggro, poison, Ed, you see the little green poison? He's right on top of the boss. The closest person to Will get poison. It's crucial. Because this yellow eyes skill right here is the next big deal. The next thing we have to figure out, right? And so you can see right here, yellow eyes is map wide. All of these things are hitting people. Everywhere is nowhere safe except for by the poison, right? And this hits about 75%. It's HP scaling, which is crucial, right? HP scaling 75%-ish of your HP. So it's not a one shot. But with all the debris going on, other things that hit fixed damage, it can be. But the nice thing about HP scaling is what we have as party defense. HP scaling, decreasing skills. Benediction, Shell, Sia's, they have a cup skill. They have another skill that's an iframe for the next 3 attacks. They have hourglass. So we were able to rotate through all of these skills because this yellow eyes comes in around 20-30 seconds. And one of the things that I was proud of as well is we didn't use the audio cues. Sefi's team, Sefi provided audio. Mushi provided audio in English. We actually didn't use it. We kind of figured out that the poison is the indicator of when yellow eyes are coming up, and you're hearing comms. Warren is on top of it. We call it out preemptively. We try to make sure we have one of these big skills up to reduce the damage, and you'll see why. We have 10 lives left going to phase 2. We end up with 9 lives left. Insane. This is just insane for a 5-minute fight. For 5 minutes in phase 3, there's so much stuff that can go wrong quickly. And we were able to cycle through all of that and absolutely crush it. So right there, yellow eyes. We had the Sia cup up, I think. So we're looking at all these blue skills right here. He used his HP decreasing. I think we had shell up as well. And you just look at the bar. I mean, he's absolutely rotating through these beautifully. I'm aggro here, so I'm on the right side to make sure he faces right. Poison in the middle. So positioning is key, right? We're all able to, this is a DPS check, do as much damage as possible. Everyone's doing the rotation. And the insane part is we were top notch. DPS was insane. So there I got knocked back. Get out of there. Blink. So blink is huge, right? If you ever get knocked back or hit, you're going to get, you see me, the skull above my head. That means you're, I call it disorient, but basically if you're trying to move left, you're going to go right. So you have to blink. You just toggle right back on top of the boss, and I'm going all over the place here, but I figure it out. That's what happens when you get hit by the knockback. And then if you get knocked back into a web, you have to all cure, blink, figure it all out, right? So it takes a little bit of mechanic getting used to, because the webs do hit damage as well. So if you get stuck in these webs in these corners, if you don't get out of it quickly, you're screwed. So that's why we try to cleanse it, especially on the right side for when aggro gets knocked back. So here, aggro jumps, right? Unfortunately, this is where it gets crazy. I think, yeah, aggro died there, Truffleox. So Andy got aggro now. So this is where it gets a little chaotic. Until we have a settled aggro, it can be chaotic, right? And I tried to, like, Warren put up his hourglass there, right there, that skill. I tried to cleanse on the right side to keep it clear, because look, he had hourglass up for this yellow. Oh, that's not yellow eyes. Knockback. You know, Ed got aggro back. So shell, hourglass. So Warren is honestly MVP. Poison right there. Poison, and then yellow eyes. So this is yellow eyes. You see right here, map wide attack. He has hourglass up for this. So even if people die, obviously we're not going to die. So Warren, MVP. Sia, huge props to him. He had it all figured out. And we're kind of in shambles right here, right? We're trying to figure it out. Positioning, webs, cleansing webs. I didn't do the best DPS there. Aggro's jumping. So we're trying to cleanse webs here in the left corner. People die. So it's getting a little chaotic, right? When shit hits the fan, this is where things go crazy. Right? I told Mila to take the life there, and then I rezzed Andy. So this is the only life we took. This is the beginning part. When aggro goes around, it's rough, but once aggro settles in here, smooth sailing. But again, that's where we have to cleanse these webs, right? I synchro echo right there immediately. We have benediction up. Cleansing webs, get right back on top of boss. Stunned here, clutch stun by Warren. Allows a DPS here. And so we had to maximize our stuns, maximize our Sia skills, maximize our splits, our time leaps, everything, just to clear this boss. It is such a small margin for error. It may just look like we're tunneling, but you'll listen to the comms video on Eds. We are communicating constantly, making sure we have skills up to counter all of Will's abilities. Yellow Eyes right there. He just used it right there. That skill to keep us alive. I think it was one of these skills. Maybe it was this one. But yeah, he had something up, right? We had something up for that. That's why no one died there. So it's a DPS check. It may just look like a DPS check, which it is, but it's also us doing a lot of things behind the scenes that, people that don't know, right? They won't see it. But there's a method to the madness, right? He used this skill right here, 3 charges, party wide. The next 3 attacks are immune. You don't take any damage from it. So he used that Yellow Eyes for that. Allows us to just stand there and tank. People don't understand how insane that is, how hard, what goes into that, how good you have to be reactive and know when it's coming, right? And so he has Hourglass up here. I mean, Warren is got answers to everything. Sia's got answers to everything. Can single-handedly make this look like a clean fight, but it's chaos behind the scenes, right? We got Shell up here. And my main goal, DPS, clear those webs on the right side, and then make sure I synchro, communicate my synchro with Ed. I'm letting him know I got 20 seconds left till synchro because I don't want him to overlap Darkseid. Ed cannot die. Right? If it dies, you see how chaotic it gets with aggro switches and stuff. So we try to make sure that my job, Yellow Eye, is right there, Benediction, and his Sia cup was up for that. Huge. No one's dying, right? It looks like we're just tanking everything. Kind of are, but we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes. We have a lot of HP for sure, but we're also doing a lot of support in the background. MVPs, Warren, Hybrid Theory, our Bishop, Truffle Locks, Ed, holding aggro, holding it down. Just team effort, right? People don't see it, but that's why I'm trying to bring light to it. There's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes, right? I'm trying to cleanse webs here, get back on top of the boss, blink, go back over. Use my V3. We're kind of getting like aggro here with the stuns and stuff. No one wants to cleanse, but yeah, we got cranking damage, huge support. Got it done. Whew. This one was hype. We seen teams clear with like 1 second left, 2 seconds left. We got over 10 seconds left. We went to drop rate here. Get my drop rate going. You see that no drop? Yeah. I think we had 6 or 7 out of the 10 get the node. So not 100% guaranteed, but we all had drop rate. Hyped. Insane. We were so stoked for this. Stayed for the picture. Got the DPS charts, got the healing charts, got everything, right? Like, almost got podium there. Kind of bummed about that, not gonna lie. But, yeah. Look at the healing. No one looks at this. No one looks at the healing charts, but 52 mil healing is insanity. That is so much healing. And he did DPS. He's not just support. He was healing, and he also did 6% DPS. 1.6 trillion is a ton. Right? That's like one over 100 bill easy. Right? So he did his part, right? Warren, like I said, absolutely carried. 2.23 trillion. Am I saying that right? 2.3 trillion is monstrous. Right? That is huge. Shan kept up. Shan is only below 50 mil cap. Held his own, right? Didn't die as well, right? I think just across the board, the team, like, we can't just look at the charts. Like, squad. Well, everyone did their part, right? Everyone did their part. They did their DPS, they did their support, they survived, they did the test. I mean, super stoked for the team. I mean, Mila almost overtook our aggro at the end. Insane, right? So we got contributions across the board. We got rewarded. We were very fortunate. A lot of us got the will skill, and this is what I'm talking about. Paladin, AT&T bars. Just how the tests line up, how the DPS works out. It's just no damage, right? No damage when the tests are going up, and then huge burst. Not bad, but like this is what I'm saying, right? I got 8 attacks in my V3 in. That's the max I could get in 15 minutes. 19,000 lines, right? It basically did the same amount of damage as my main blast skill. Not 850 attacks, 34k hit counts for my blast. This V3, 8 uses, 19 lines, did almost the same amount of damage. Wild, huge, right? That's why it was so important for me to make sure that I got these out, because one miss could have been the difference between clearing and not clearing, right? One miss, 2,400 lines. Or I'm basically doing 100 build DPM, almost 90 build DPM per use. So if I missed one, that could have been probably not a fail, but I mean, it adds up, right? It adds up. So little things like that for a Paladin point of view, team-wide, crushed it, killed it, stoked about it. Yeah, we cherish this one more than others. We're hyped about this one. So that was episode 82. Yeah, if you wanted to, thank you for staying to the end. If you wanted to listen to that kind of breakdowns of what we went through, what we kind of learned throughout the process, little mechanics, things that we did that you may not see, kind of the breakdown of what you see behind the scenes, right? Of what our strategy was, because it wasn't just, if you don't know, if you just look at someone's video and you don't hear the comms, like if you want to see Ed's video for the comms, if you don't hear the breakdown, you're probably like, oh, that was easy money. That was just pure whale, tanking everything, DPSing, tunneling everything. That's not the case at all. And so I wanted to shed some light on just the MVPs, right? It's not just the top DPS. It's not just the full. It's not just me synchroing our top aggros, the big DPS. It's really the support players, the Shade, the Sia, the Bishop, and the Paladin a little bit, that all have huge roles. You got to maximize the split, the Shade split. You got to get the crit res. You got to get the time leap from the Phantoms. We have to rotate Sia, the Sia Cup skill, the Hourglass, the other skill, the Hat, on top of the Benediction and the Shell, and the healing, 55 mil healing from the Bishop, right? Sia jumped up tiers for me. They're back. They are insane. I mean, single-handedly carried us, and you wouldn't know unless you watch this video, to be honest, or you know Sia's, because, yeah, just, and if he messed up one, if he didn't have one for each, yellow eyes and know when to use it and use it at the appropriate time, then, and call it out and communicate, like we would have overlap and we would have had mass deaths. And if we had mass deaths, who would have known? We might have got that last 10 seconds of DPS. It would have been way sweatier. So just want to shout out the team, man. It was so much fun, stressful at times. We had, like, full transparency, we had shouting matches. We couldn't get through that first minute. We couldn't figure it out, but we did. We somehow did it. Excited, happy, thankful, grateful for all the congratulations for the team, for all the support outside of our team. I mean, yeah, it was awesome. And I'm glad we could kind of share this with you guys. And yeah, definitely support the other players that show their point of views as well and learn from it. Best players in the game, not just the best geared, the best players mechanically in the game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord community. The Echo Clan community is growing, the best community in the game right now. And if you want to take your gameplay to the next level, improve your gameplay, do more damage, do more DPS, you definitely want to subscribe. The first 7 days are free and you're going to get full access to everything in the channel. So you definitely want to check that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.